guys, Mauro here. There is a video on YouTube of Toni Nadal, Rafa Nadal's uncle and trainer, and it's a speech that he gave in Spain. It's actually two videos, but one of them is a tech talk that he gave in Spain, and it's a very interesting talk where and of course he talks about how he has worked with Rafa and the thing that they were focusing ever since he was a kid. It's really good. Unfortunately, of course, it's in Spanish. But I was thinking, I got 14 points from the speech that I really wanted to talk about. I think this is something that it could help not only with your kids or the kids that you train, and even ourselves as adults. So. Okay, well, just here we go, and this is 14 points from Uncle Tony, let's say, and we start at point number 1, which is accept reality. He talks about he mentions that there is one time that Nadal asked him, he was going to play Fed. I think it was one of the very first time, probably the first time or second time that we're going to play. He was going to play Roger. And Nadal asked him, Rafa asked him, so what do you think about the match today? And he told him, he said, well, Roger's forehand is better than yours. Roger's backhand is better than yours. Roger's service is way better than yours. He said, in his volley, there is no comparison. And Rafa was like, okay, that's enough for me, thank you. But Tony told him, he said, but the one thing that you have that can help you against all that is your endurance, your will fight. But what he mentioned, one thing that he was mentioning is that you have to accept the reality as it is. You have to accept your limitations. You have to be very blunt with yourself and say, okay, this is where I'm not doing well. This is the kind of the weaknesses that I have. This is a strength. So you have to be pretty much like brutally honest with yourself and accept how things are, and from there you start working on it. Instead of if either with yourself or with the kids or with your kids or kids that you train, it's better to be just show reality as it is, and the things that these are your strengths and these are your weaknesses, and also that's something that helps the kids form character ever since they're really young. And that is super important, especially you're gonna play tennis, because on the court, tennis is not like basketball or soccer. This is just you on the court. If you lose, it's your fault, and if you win, it's your credit. So that's a very important thing too. I thought that was it could be a little difficult to handle for a lot of people, because nobody likes to really do like a reality check. But that's something that we really need to, and it's better than lying, and telling things that are not true, and the kid or yourself finding out later that I was wrong. So, all right, point number 2, understand and accept that improvement is hard and difficult, and that learning that isn't easy. Okay, yeah, improvement is very important. You wanna really point out, you wanna really make it clear. This is gonna take a long time. And this is gonna be hard. Those I would say those two things you gotta take it as a fact. Let's assume this is something that you're teaching yourself or you're teaching someone else. Okay, so if you're teaching a kid, you just gotta say, you just gotta be honest. Say there is no instant gratification here. This is gonna take years. Don't lie to them saying it's gonna take weeks or it's gonna take months. It's gonna take 1 year or 2, and you're gonna be a star. No, this is gonna take, in my mind, the minimum amount of time for you to become good at anything, whether you want to become a webmaster, you want to become an architect, or you want to become an athlete, a high performance athlete. In my mind, it's 5 to 6 years at least. That's when you're gonna start seeing real results. You will see results before. But the truth is that if you do research and you see the people that are successful in the business world or athletes or in any field, it's at least, people that have achieved success in 5 or 6 years is very rare. Most of them will tell you, you know what, we've been around. I had to do this thing for 10 or 11 years. You see, one of the things is, one thing that comes to my mind is that you see plenty of famous music bands like the Rolling Stones and Led Zeppelin. You go and do research. How much did these guys take before they had their first hit? Many of those guys were around for more than 10 years before they really made it. So, and that we don't hear that. We just know the nice part, the successful part. So, all right. Point number 3, trust yourself. It's very difficult to train for something with the idea in mind that you are not worthy of it or good enough to achieve your goals. Yeah, trust yourself. If you don't believe that you can do it, if you don't have that kind of trust, it's never gonna happen. It doesn't matter if you train 5, 10, or 15 years. As well as you have the idea, as well as you lack the idea in your mind that you can achieve the goal, it's just not gonna happen. If you don't behave, it's as simple as this. If you don't behave like you can achieve it, you will never achieve it. Period. You gotta assume that you're already that person, and your behavior should be like that. And the way you talk to yourself, your self-language, your self-image, the way you move, the way you talk, everything, body language, mental language, everything is gotta be like assuming that you're already that person. And you don't want to be like, oh, this thing has to prove to me that it works, and then when it proves to me, I'll do it. No, this is you cannot expect something to prove to you that it works for you to do it. You just gotta assume this works. This, if I do it, this is gonna work, and that's the only way that you're gonna find out if it works or not. And that's a risk that every successful person in the world has to take and has taken, and there is no way around that. So you got to learn to trust yourself. Okay, point number 4, no excuses. Everything is your fault. Let me rephrase that. No, you just become no excuses, meaning like the things that happen to you, you might not want to accept the fact that, okay, I went to play a match, and I lost because this guy was cheating on me. The truth is that you didn't lose because the guy was cheating and taking points from you. You lost because you let your mind, it's what you did about it. You let your mind go crazy. And how many times has that happened to us? There is a story that Toni was telling, and he was saying that there was a match that when Rafa was a kid, I think it was like 12 or something like that. He said he was playing a match, but Toni was looking at this other kid that he was training too. So a friend of Toni came up to him and said, "Hey, do you know that Rafa is playing with and his racket is broken?" And Toni was like, "What?" And he lost it. Rafa lost the first set 6-0. So he went to the court. He went to see Rafa and he told him, you know your racket is broken? And Rafa was like, oh, okay. So he switched the racket and he ended up losing the second set 7-5. After the match, Toni was like, how come someone that spent so many hours playing, you've been playing for years, you don't notice that kind of stuff? And Rafa told him, he said, well, you taught me that it's my fault. Whatever happens on the court, it's my fault. It's how I respond to it that matters. And you taught me that, you know what, there is no such thing like it's the other guy's fault or this happened to me. No, it's just your fault. She said, and I got so used to that I just thought that I was playing bad. I didn't even notice that the racket was broken. So he got so used to that mentality that it's your responsibility. Don't blame the world, don't blame the other guy, don't blame no one else but yourself. So he got so used to that he didn't even notice that thing. So that's a very important thing too. That's something that is some people might not like it, but in the end, whether we accept it or not, it's not what life or other people do to us that beat us. It's what we do about it. We beat ourselves. It's the way we respond to it that matters. So that's a good thing to teach kids nowadays. You're responsible of it. Whether you win or lose, you are responsible. Don't blame the world, and any other problem that happens to you, if you solve it or not, you are responsible. It's your response that matters. So